Hey Cancer, as we are starting off February, there is a lot of emphasis on the ways that you exchange energy and resources. This could be financial, this could be energetic, this could be sexual, this could be emotional. There's really a number of ways that this time can actually manifest for you. But generally, there are a lot of themes that you don't often talk about openly that could be coming up very loudly for you in the first part of February. That's because we are in Aquarius season, and for you, Aquarius represents your 8th house. So a lot of secrets, a lot of exchange and shared assets and resources. There's quite a bit of a dynamic there. But as we are moving more and more into February and into Pisces season, we are entering into your 9th house of foreign travel and higher education and philosophy. And so it's like you are going so deep down into something. It's almost like by the end of the month, you want to explore something. You want to broaden yourself in some way. So there is kind of an interesting progression for you this month. Overall, however, February is actually looking very lovely. We don't have a lot of disruptions that are coming up. If there are problems that arise, they are likely much more manageable, and there are solutions that feel much more available, especially compared to previous months. We don't have any retrograde planets until the end of April, so there really is this very strong forward-moving momentum. If you're excited for today's reading, then definitely be sure to hit like, subscribe, and the bell notification so you can always stay up to date with what's in the cards for you. For those of you who are brand new to my channel, my name is Michael, and I incorporate tarot and tropical astrology to intuit monthly forecasts for your zodiac sign. If you're looking to dive even deeper, you can find links for personal readings and distance Reiki sessions with me in the description box down below, as well as links for the blog posts and my other social media accounts. So as I'm shuffling here, I'm going to just talk a little bit more about the astrology for February for you. We are starting off this month with a full moon in Leo. This is happening on February 5th. And for you particularly, Cancer, this is potentially bringing out changes in finances or changes to your stability or forms of income. And maybe that's why this theme of shared assets or resources is really coming in. This could also be talking about investments as well. There could be some sort of change that is kind of making you think about your investments in a different way. And that does not have to just be financial. That can also be emotional. That can be commitments that you have to other people, really in ways that you share energy with people. So that's interesting that that's coming up. It's almost like shaking up your own sense of security. We do have Uranus that is going to be very active in the sign of Taurus this month as well, bringing us lots of opportunities to get out of systems and ways of thinking that might be limiting to us, but are otherwise comfort zones. And so for you specifically, Cancer, this is actually revolving around the people that you connect with, as well as your hopes and aspirations. You might be feeling like you need to really make some changes in order to reach the people who are right for you or to reach towards your goals. So some pretty beautiful themes there, actually. And while it's never comfortable to step out of your comfort zone, very often it's the things that are most fulfilling to us, or that's where the things that are most fulfilling to us reside. Sorry, it's kind of hard to shuffle and speak at the same time. I'm going back to what I used to do, where I would shuffle on screen, just trying out different things. I think it kind of makes more for an authentic and organic reading. So I'm curious to hear in the comments down below how this resonates and which style you kind of prefer. Previously, I've been kind of pulling cards in advance. What are the messages for Cancer? Let me actually get quiet here for a second. Okay, so the first card that actually just flipped out here is the Queen of Cups. This is actually one of your cards, Cancer, so this is very interesting. You are very, very intuitive at the start of this month, and maybe you've been in a very nurturing mode as there's been a lot of focus on close relationships. I feel like a lot of you have been really dialing into your intuition as well, especially looking at this specific Queen of Cups with the pendulums, with the scrying bowl, with the crystals and the tarot deck. there's been a lot of exploration for you spiritually. And so it's important that you are trusting your intuition, and especially as we are moving through the month of February. But it feels like you've already been in this energy. And honestly, with Venus now in the sign of Pisces, and it will be coming together with Neptune in Pisces on the 15th, there's definitely a stronger intuitive connection that you have. You might be dialed in spiritually in a new way. So, you might be practicing new sort of rituals or new sorts of ways to connect with spirit. What else do we have? Show me clearly, please. Okay, so we have the Fool with the Emperor. Interesting. You really do need to trust your intuition and actually make a change in your life in accordance to what it is that your heart or your spirit is telling you. I actually do feel like a lot of you could be in the process of changing a job looking at the Emperor. I'm kind of getting that vibe. Tell me more about this Emperor. Why is the Emperor here? Okay, so this is really about you stepping back into your power. Because we have the Fool kind of stepping off this cliff and into the Emperor energy, which is a very powerful and solid energy. And this is also clarified with the Hanged One as well. I feel like some of you have felt stuck. Some of you have been waiting for the perfect moment to make a change or to have a conversation. And it feels like in February, you're just going to bite the bullet and go for something. Or that's kind of the advice for you, is to just have these sorts of conversations, to just go there. Okay? So that's kind of interesting. But the Hanged One is a very intuitive energy. It's very Neptunian, very Piscean. A very intuitive and psychic energy. So I do feel like there's still this recurring spiritual theme that is coming in for you this month. Some of you might be investing more into esoteric studies or magical practices and doing your research there, which is quite interesting. And we do have the Queen of Pentacles. Specifically, some of you could also be learning about herbs and plants. That is actually something that I'm getting for this group. But really looking here, I do feel like you are looking for ways to feel more secure and looking for ways to feel more stable. And I think when Mercury enters into Aquarius on the 11th, this is going to really mark a time where you are focused more on building for your future. And again, maybe even investing in some way. But the Queen of Pentacles is actually quite interesting, because this is an energy of someone who is a provider, someone who is a nurturer. So it's not just about gathering resources for yourself, it's about being able to give something to other people. And then when we have the new moon in Pisces, and you are very affected by these new moons, there is this newfound energy. That's when it really feels like you want to explore more. That's when you want to invest more. Yeah, that Ace of Cups. Your intuition is telling you something. Ace of Cups and Temperance. Wow, okay. So kind of an aside, I'll pull some more cards for this in a moment, but I do feel like there could be something with deepening a relationship or having more heartfelt connection with someone. Could potentially be a Sagittarius, but certainly does not have to be. Just seeing the Ace of Cups, it feels like there is something that is filling your heart. And you're overflowing in some way, but in a beautiful way. You're filling up your own cup so you can give to other people, or your joy is filling up other people. And Temperance is a very interesting energy because it's often thought of as bringing opposites into balance. We have the fire and water, but in truth, the process of tempering metal or tempering steel is actually about strengthening and bringing out the best qualities or attributes of something. And so I'm not seeing Temperance as you watering some part of your down. I'm not thinking of that version of balance where it's kind of neutralizing certain parts of yourself to accentuate other parts of yourself. It's about relationships or energies that really celebrate the strength of each person or each aspect and give rise to opportunities to explore those strengths or let those strengths shine. So that's really, really interesting. But I do feel overall there's something beautiful for relationships as well. And thinking about this new moon in Pisces, I pulled the World and actually the Death card, which is interesting because this is signifying an ending and a new beginning. I really do feel like some of you are opening yourself up to non-physical energy. These could be ancestors, these could be spirit guides. I really do feel like that's kind of a theme here, actually, and that's feeling very pronounced around the new moon on the 20th. And I was saying, Cancer, you are ruled by the moon, so whatever it is that the moon is doing is especially important to you. And so the full moon in Leo on the 5th is really bringing a lot of changes for you, especially relative to your finances and your sense of security. It's kind of this shakeup. And I think this month is honestly just a really great month to take risks. Don't overthink things. You'll learn as you are going through this process. It's not to say to go into something blind either, but I feel like you are allowing yourself to learn as you go. And maybe that's part of this intuitive or spiritual work that you are doing. If you aren't connecting to spirit literally, I could also just interpret this as you are connecting more to your own spirit. And in this process, you are realizing you need to let go of certain ways of being in order to embrace the next chapter and really step through this threshold. What other messages do we have for Cancer? What other messages do we have for Cancer? Show us clearly, please. We have the Six of Cups. You could be reconnecting with some part of yourself. Maybe you are reconnecting with your ancestors or your lineage in some way. You might even be doing that through travel. Actually looking at death and the world quite literally, some of you, and certainly not all of you, could be traveling someplace for a funeral. You might be traveling to your hometown, or maybe some other major life event. It doesn't just have to be a funeral, but it's like, I do kind of get an ending with death here. I definitely get that sense. And that could be kind of opening a bridge for you to reconnect to something that feels quite nostalgic or familiar to you in some way. What is going on for love and relationships? We do have the Two of Cups. There could be a deepening commitment or connection that is happening for you this month. And to be honest, this message feels more for people who are already in a relationship or connected to someone. I feel like there is a lot that's happening that is strengthening your bond. Some of you could be meeting new people as well. You could be meeting people who have a lot of potential for you romantically if you are single and looking. But I feel like with the Two of Cups, it really is just having those heart-to-heart conversations. And again, that feels very, very important to me. It's almost like getting beneath the surface with you and another person. Yeah, Page of Swords. It's like I'm saying, heart-to-heart conversations for sure. And I mean, the Two of Cups often does speak of the courage it takes to be vulnerable in that way. And maybe that is the leap of faith. Maybe that is the risk you are being asked to take, or one of the risks you're being asked to take this month. But I feel like it's going to help clear up any confusion or anything that is unclear with the Seven of Cups. I feel like there are two people who have very different expectations or assumptions about relationships, or could even be about financial things or lifestyle choices. And I could see some sort of heart to heart conversation where it's kind of understood that you have different schemas or ways of operating, or kind of conditioning, and maybe trying to bridge that gap in some way while still respecting each other's differences. Are there any other messages for Cancer? I really actually feel like, well, I have the Knight of Cups and the Ten of Pentacles with the Two of Pentacles. So part of this change that I'm actually getting for some of you, maybe this change in your stability is like moving in with a partner, or like rethinking your notion of domestic partnerships or traditional relationships. I do kind of get this like romantic vibe. It's like, I feel like a lot of what is happening in this month for you, it's like part of another person's story, or like your story is coming together with another person's story. There is kind of this balancing act with the Two of Pentacles. I feel like you're leading with the heart. That's just a really clear message I just got. Your Cancer is leading with the heart. I feel like there are ancestors who are trying to connect with you, who are acknowledging patterns from the family that aren't healthy, and they are trying to assist you in resolving these issues in spirit. It could also be that there are people who are still alive in your lineage who are recognizing patterns and helping you change or heal those things. And I really do get the sense with the Two of Pentacles, it feels like you're combing through your belief system. And I think this is especially true once we are in Pisces season, from the 18th of February onward. It's like you're looking at what you were taught to believe versus what you believe now, or what you're being taught to believe now, what society wants you to believe. And you might be trying to figure out what's worth keeping. So there's a lot of stuff about ideology that's coming up here too. And that's interesting. Maybe you're connecting with someone and it's kind of challenging the way that you thought relationships were supposed to look. Or the way that you thought your role was supposed to be, or what role you were supposed to fill for other people. I do want to pull a Moon Oracle card here for you as well. What are the Moon messages for Cancer? And again, you are ruled by the Moon, so this just feels like the perfect deck for you right now. Interesting, the North Node, stepping out of your comfort zone. I told you, there is like something you're going to just have to take a leap of faith towards. I feel like this also makes a lot of sense because the North Node kind of represents this longing for something different, and maybe leaving behind or integrating where we have come from, or what was once true for us. And I feel like this North Node is both coming out in relationships, like having conversations that you don't necessarily feel the most comfortable about having. but also you challenging your belief system, or you kind of sorting through or discerning what beliefs actually hold true for you, are actually aligned for you. And we have the new moon. A new start is coming. Yeah, there's lots of new energies. There's lots of new beginnings coming for you this month, Cancer. And it's like a whole new way of beginning or thinking. It's a whole new way of living, or a new way of seeing. There is something that is brand new here. And I do feel like finances are also something that you are reconsidering as well. Like, I feel like there's just so much of your worldview that is under question this month. And I actually feel like while these questionings can lead us to feel very ungrounded and uncertain, there's actually a lot of openness and freedom that can come from it as well. So I definitely encourage you to explore and to challenge your assumptions this month, Cancer. Anyways, those are all the messages I am getting for you this month. I do hope that this was helpful. Be sure to hit like and subscribe if it was, and let me know in the comments down below, what are these beliefs that you are questioning? It seems like there's a lot here. It's very layered. So I would love to hear some confirmation, or just hear like what exactly all of this is about. You can also find links in the description box down below for personal readings and distant Reiki sessions, as well as links for all of my other social media accounts. I will see you all in the next video, and I'm wishing you a very happy February. Take care.